Well, it's Tuesday evening. How is everybody doing? That's out there. Let me. We got a couple people out here. Got a couple people. I don't know how many do we have. Good heavens. 30,
All right.
31, 32, something like that.
Nice.
So, hey, we've got we have a guest star with us here tonight. This guy right here.
What's happening?
So, I asked Zach if he could be so kind as to join us here this evening for a little bit, because he edits on the phone.
I sure do.
And
100%.
And I don't do that. You know, he has better eyesight than I do, I guess. So.
Better with my fingers than a mouse.
Oh, so anyway, he does some phone editing. So he's going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about regular editing programs, and I would like your folks out there in the chat. I'd like your input as to what editing programs you use. We're going to open up the phone lines as well, and we'll just kind of sit down. And good. Are you okay?
Whoops.
Are you okay? I thought you fell down.
I did fall down. The camera took a little plunge on me. My bad.
Oh my goodness.
That's that editing skill right there.
I'm just glad you didn't come back up all bloody or something. So, anyway, we'll open up the phone line so you can call in, and we'll just kind of have a general meeting here tonight between everybody here, and we will talk a little bit. I see that Broussard Homestead is in here, and he's saying iMovie. Well, that tells me he's got a Mac, and
Right.
There are programs that swing both ways between a PC and a Mac, and there's some just for Mac, and there's some just for a Windows machine. I specialize more on the Windows side of things. I know enough about Macintoshes that I don't buy them. I say that tongue in cheek, but I do mean it.
Right.
And I know that Zach works in a computer department, sort of, IS of some sort. Not sure exactly what your title is, but something to do with what, websites or general management or project management or.
I think my title now is a product manager.
Oh, a product manager.
Yep. I've dabbled in project management, delivery management, and now product management.
I'm afraid to ask what products.
Go 365 and My Humana. So working with Humana Health Insurance, but I work on their website and app.
Okay, all right. So there's your phone skills, working on their app, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, does most of your work take place on a Mac or on a PC?
No, it's actually a PC. Only our designers get the Macs.
And you know, that's, for those of you in the chat, I think you'll probably find this to be true in most environments. The graphics departments at most businesses are the ones that have the Macs. And everybody else has a PC.
That's right.
So in other words, the people that do all the heavy work are the ones that have the PCs, and the ones that just sit around all day and draw things are the ones that have the Macs. Is that fair? Is that fair, Zach?
Oh, I don't know. There might be somebody I know around here.
Okay, well, if you have a Mac, you got to have a thick skin, just like if you're a YouTuber. So we're all good. We all like to just kind of poke some fun at the bear here. What are we up to here? Just glancing over. We got 57 people out there right now.
All right.
So it's...
I finally got the chat up, so I'm finally watching.
Okay, so you can see a little bit of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I got too many screens open to see what all's going on here. But what I want to what I want to just share with some folks here before we open up the phone lines is, let me bring this over. Okay, so what you're looking at here is you're looking at my desktop, and you're looking at one of the tools that I use, which happens to be Power Editor. It's an editing program. But that's not the only tool in the tool bag. This happens to be the one that I made the little thumbnail that you all saw for tonight's live stream, and I still have that up here because this is where I did it. This is how I created it. It was a very quick little 3-line thing. I just took a snapshot of the picture, resized it, and stuck it up there as a thumbnail for tonight. But some of the other programs that I use include DaVinci Resolve, includes Filmora 9, includes Filmora Pro. Here's one I don't talk too much about. It's VSDC Video Editor. And this is Shotcut. And this one is OpenShot. And you might say, well, why do you have all those? Well, most of these are free. They're not all free, but most of them are free. And they're just different tools. So I can be working in one editor and have something else on another one. They're all very similar, but they all do things a little different. If I got something I got to do a lot of color correction, well, without question, I go to DaVinci because they're just noted for their color.
Grace is asking what's the best software for just starting out.
Oh, the best software for just starting out. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say a free one that is somewhat intuitive to use for just starting out. And that could include OpenShot. It could include Shotcut, and possibly VSDC. All three of these are free. They all three have a lot of different instructional videos on YouTube that you can use. If you wanted to talk about a paid video editor to start with, Filmora 9 is a very, very good one. And my favorite is PowerShot. Or not PowerShot, Power Director. Power Director is my favorite one. To me, it gives you the most variations. You can do more with it than other things. Their color grading is not near as good as what it is on DaVinci Pro or DaVinci, but as far as just going through in a hurry and making the magic, that's this is my go-to first, is right here, the Power Director. And I've used all these, so I don't have any real preference. I can use any of them, but this is my go-to. It's the fastest. It renders the fastest. It's just, it works for me. Now, having said that, everything that I've shown you has been for a PC. Some of them are cross-platform, where you can run them on a Mac, or they have a comparable version for a Mac. The Filmora does, the Power Director does not. And I'm not real certain on those other ones. We would have to go look those up. But Zach, tell us about some editors for phones.
Sure. So let me start by saying I do use everything on the phone. We started filming with our phone, so it was very easy because all the videos were already on there. If you use a camera, that's when it gets a tad tricky. However, the camera that we use is the Canon G7X Mark III, and it connects via Wi-Fi to your phone. So any videos we shoot on our camera, we can just transfer straight over to our phone, and it saves in your photo library just like if you were to take a video. So to kind of lay that out, if you are interested in using your phone, you kind of need to know that piece before going about it. However, I use Viva Video. Now, it does cost $4. I want to say it was a one-time payment of $4 to use the app, but it's very good. It's very easy. However, we started with iMovie because we do have a iPhone, and it's nice. There's still nothing wrong with iMovie. However, when you upload from a phone, there's slight difficulties in using the YouTube music, which Daryl has spoke a lot about. YouTube allows you to have a lot of copyright-free music that you can download. However, it doesn't download well to a phone because when you try to use any kind of music outside of the app music, you have to have it either somehow saved into iTunes or be very crafty and getting it from a file on your phone actually into the app, and that gets it a little too complicated. So iMovie was limited on music, so that's why we moved over to Viva Video, because there is a wide range of music on there. So those are my top two suggestions. We tried using Filmora on our phone. I know a lot of people like it. I just didn't. I couldn't get, honestly, the hang of it. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it was frustrating me on an actual mobile device.
Now, you use an iPhone, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and have you ever tried it on Android?
No, I've never tried on Android.
Okay, so this is something that may play into hands too, that perhaps there could be something a little different on an Android.
Absolutely, that's very true. But the app itself, like Viva Video, the one thing that you're going to fall into, like a lot of people talk about our music that we have. We use one specific guy, Nicholas Jamerson, and we do get that music off iTunes. So that could be something that complicates things if you're trying to get that music off there from there.
Okay. And talk with the people a little bit here, because typically you can't just go get music off iTunes and use it.
Correct. So
explain that so people don't have their videos hit and flagged and what have you.
Right. So you can't just go into iTunes and download whatever song that you want and put it on your music, of course, because a lot of artists have their music set into YouTube. So like when you upload a video and you hit monetize, it immediately runs through an automatic generator that YouTube has created. It's a very smart tool. And so it's picking up on especially the first few minutes and length of time a song is playing. And so if it catches any of their songs that are in their system to find, it's going to copyright you. Now, our friend Nick, the first steps we did, we spoke to him and asked if we could use his music, first off. Secondly, he has not put any of his personal music through YouTube to where it will be flagged as copyright. So we don't even have that issue. However, he was in a previous band that is no longer together. And if we were to play any of his music, or if it seems like there's one that's similar to that, we have been flagged before because they thought it was the previous band that he was in, because that music is in there. So if you are trying to use someone's music, the first thing, of course, is getting permission from them. And the second is seeing if they've contacted YouTube or if their music's on there as potential copyright, because even if they give you permission, YouTube's going to auto-flag it if it's in their system.
And what that means, folks, is if you get flagged for a copyright violation, that by itself is not necessarily, any big detriment or anything. But for the most part, what happens is they will come in and say, you have stolen our music, even if it's for 10 seconds of use. They say, you have stolen our music, and therefore you cannot monetize this particular video. But we can, because it's our music. So you may have a 30-minute video that has 10 seconds of somebody else's music, and it's a viral video, and you get 500,000 views on it, and it generates $5,000 in revenue, and you don't get a dime, and they get it all. That's what can happen.
Yeah, and to add to that, so we've had a couple videos that they flagged, and we knew it was wrong. It was a mistake, and if you ever do get flagged, it'll tell you who's flagging it, and they've even got good enough to where in your video they'll pick out the spot that is copyrighted, and so you can listen to it and you can see exactly what they think is copyright. The problem is, even if they are wrong, yes, you can challenge it. However, the length of time it takes them to review, and even if they do give it back, you've probably got your bulk of views already wasted. So a tip that Jen and I do, if we do have that situation, we actually go ahead and delete that uploaded video before we post it public. Fix it on our end, change whatever music. I know sometimes it's hard to bite that bullet, even if you know you're in the right. We'll delete the video, go back to editing, cut out that piece of music, replace it with a different piece, and re-upload, and then turn it to monetize, and all is good. And then we can go public and make sure that we catch all of our views, because it's definitely going to happen, the bulk of it, in that first 3 days. So that's kind of what we do if we do get that auto flag before we go send our video to public.
So when you upload everything unlisted, is that correct?
We do private.
Or private?
But
Okay.
Yeah.
Private/unlisted, whatever.
Right.
Okay. And yeah, it takes them no time at all to flag something.
Yeah.
I don't know if you folks were in here when the stream just started before I actually came on and Zach came on, but if you noticed across the top when the music was playing, there was a text banner that changed with whatever song was playing in the background, whatever music was playing. And I do that now strictly for a reason to help me, because we do more live streams than anything else. And on the live stream, they'll do the same thing. They'll come in and say, well, you've used music that you're not allowed to use. Even though I am allowed to use it, they'll say no, and they'll give you this little time thing. And if I have a group of songs in a directory, maybe I've got 50 songs in a directory, for me to try to determine what song was playing at exactly that time. I mean, I can go in and listen to what they're claiming, but now I've got to search that back to whatever song it is. It's crazy. So I've put a little program in here that every song that plays, it just puts the title of that song up on the screen, so I can go in and I can quickly go back and say, here's the song. So I'll dispute it. Because with a live stream, you can't just delete it and re-edit it and put it back up. You just can't do that.
Right.
So this is some things that we do. Folks, the phone number is going across the top if anybody would like to call in and talk. Ask Zach questions, ask me questions, talk about some software you use, some different issues that maybe you've had. Maybe we can even talk, if you want this whole discussion here tonight can lead into a little bit of the new upcoming regulation changes and what have you that's going down with YouTube, with COPA, and potential fines in excess of $40,000, and if your video is good for kids or not good for kids, or if you're creating adult content or baby content or whatever you're doing, feel free to call in. We'll talk about it here.
For sure. YouTube really likes to use very big, scary words, don't they? That's one thing I've noticed.
So it's been absolutely incredible, and I'm kind of curious here, and I've been kind of talking with Zach here, so I've not been paying a lot of attention to the chat. Has there been any questions come up through? Gosh, no questions. Well, how about everybody that's in the chat, type down the video editor that you use. And I know a little bit ago I saw that Broussard Homestead put in that they use iMovie.
And Daryl, I literally have no idea if it would work, but I do have an option to share my screen if at some point we wanted to try to see if I can walk through what I do.
That'd be fine.
I have no idea if it'll work, though.
Yeah, no
Just
idea.
know it's an option.
You know it's an option, and it might work. And if you want to give it a shot, I mean, worst case, we'll just reconnect.
All right. I mean, I have to kind of move the screen, so I'm going to look a little crazy here.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you more full screen on here.
Oh, even better. All right. I'm going to share screen, not camera roll. Let's see. So just do screen recording. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen here. We're all going to find out together.
Okay, Hardnick Farms. You say free Filmora. Now, is that for a phone? Because if it's not, I know there's a watermark. So I'm just curious about that. And Royal Amethyst Acres, Filmora 9. Just figured it out.
Cecilia's asking Zach, how is COPA affecting you?
It's not affecting us. It's a little bit scarier than it actually turned out to be. So our footage and filming, even though it is okay for anyone under 18 to watch, or 13, I don't remember the exact age that they have. It's 13 and below, I think, and then restricting above 18. We mark all of our videos as not suitable for children, and that's just main on the fact that our film is not focused around children. It is not strictly kids videos. So we've marked everything not for children, and it's been okay since then. So that's what I would suggest you do, unless you're doing something strictly for children.
Okay, and Zach, I've lost all video from you.
Have you?
100%, yeah.
Okay, hang on.
There, I've got you back in a portrait mode.
Yeah, that's me. Hang on. So I can share my screen, but apparently not on anything that... I only have the option to do it for Zoom, Messenger, and Skype, so apparently it's not going to work.
Okay, we're back to full screen again here.
Well, we tried, right?
Absolutely. And that's all we can do. Now,
that's right.
I don't know if you have the program on Jen's phone. You could hold her phone up and show them.
I'm on Jen's phone.
Oh, you're on Jen's?
My phone is in such rough shape. I can try to see if I can find mine here in a minute. I think Jen's got it. But yeah, I can't even hear out of mine, so we got to use everything to Jen's.
Royal Amethyst, can you edit a live after it's done streaming?
There's a couple things you can do with a live afterwards. You can change the thumbnail. You can hold on here just a moment. I've lost a window. Okay. You can edit a thumbnail. You can change a title. You can change your metadata. If you edit the video, you can do that with YouTube's editor, but you will lose the live chat. So if you know when you play back the live at a later date, how the chat comes up alongside of it, well, you lose the chat if you edit the video. So I guess to answer that question, yes, you can, but no, you probably really don't want to.
Don't everybody speak at once.
Okay.
So I looked at my phone to see if we can get it in, but it's not logged in under our account because I do all the editing on Jen's phone, so I wouldn't be able to show anything.
Okay, so with that particular editor, then, is it tied into the internet as well?
Yes, because it's actually slightly a social media platform too. So Viva Video was created, and you can share videos within its internal self. So you can create an account, you can have friends on there, you can do kind of short clips and stuff. What was that one app called where it was like those very short, I don't know, those kid video apps where they're kind of on a roll, and they're like the little GIFs and stuff, or I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. Where kids can create little videos with music in the background. It's kind of the same situation, but a different app. So,
are you talking Marco Polo?
No, not Marco Polo. What's it called? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's where like you can have music in the background and kids like do like that little dance thing. TikTok, like TikTok and stuff like that. So it's kind of in
TikTok,
that
huh?
situation,
Okay.
right? But it's an editing app, but they've added a social media component to it. So yes, it is connected to the internet.
Okay.
However, you have your own profile, and that's where all of your videos are saved, and you do not have to share them out to social media. We don't on there. We just do the editing, save it to our camera roll, and then we actually go to YouTube to upload.
Okay. Now I'm a little curious. If you do everything with your phone like this, you have virtually no backup for your videos, do you?
Actually, you can get a hard drive that works for your phone, which is what we do.
Okay, so you have an external hard drive you attach to your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then you can just save all the info over there.
So, and that would probably be a very good idea, I'm guessing, if people wanted to just work with their phone that way.
Right, and it's honestly a personal opinion. We like keeping the videos just for any, if YouTube crashes or whatever may happen and we lose those videos, at least we have them. But if they don't hold true to your heart or anything, you can always just delete them because they are on YouTube and you can get them out of your camera roll.
Sure, absolutely.
But I guess since I can't show the video, and I apologize, it's VIVA video, and it's extremely easy to use. Basically, once you've created your account, you'll hit edit video. It'll pop you straight to your photo library in your phone. And as long as you have your videos and pictures that you want to use in your video on there, they're all going to be available. Something that Jen and I do, it's really just to help me out because my rule is I try not to spend any longer than 45 minutes editing a video. If I am, I'm thinking too long, and I know we can make our videos as extensive and as edited as we possibly can. However, we just don't want to do that because we have so many other things going on. We have 2 young children. We can't spend a lot of time on editing. So we try to take our videos in order. So when we are getting ready to shoot a video, we try to plan it out a little to where we're doing our opening, and then we can kind of let things flow just like our normal day would, and then we end it. Of course, that doesn't always work that way. We have to clip things in different days. But that helps with our editing, just having things lined out so I don't have to go search for videos on a phone because that does get a little difficult. So if I can just hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our clips, it pops it immediately in order. And then once you actually get into the app, you have each one of your clips, which is just however long your video was of that clip. And it's all in order for you from the beginning to the end. And then mainly what I do is it's a split functionality is basically what it is. They have a split and a trim option. But you can move the dial back and forth on where you want it. So I usually clip the beginning, clip the end of each clip, because that's when I've got the camera and I'm taking it down like this, or we're saying like and at the beginning of every clip. We might cut those out. We don't do a whole lot with transitions. That's just kind of our personal opinion. We've tried them out. It seemed to kind of delay in between clip to clip. There are times it's appropriate for transitions. We just usually kind of steer away from them. Once I've got them all clipped up, I will normally throw a small filter on it just to kind of lighten it, especially when we do anything in the kitchen because our kitchen's so dark. So pay attention to, just kind of giving a filter to help out with lighting. And then I'll throw some background music in it, which will be your biggest issue and difficulty when you're starting out editing, is playing around on what volume amount for each piece of music that you do. So when you listen to it on your phone, depending on how loud you have your volume on your phone, it's a difference on what your video is going to sound like to someone else that's watching on their TV or the volume on their phone. So I always try to turn my phone volume to full max volume, because in my opinion is if I can hear it softly at max volume, then no worst case scenario is people will either not hear the music in the background or they'll hear it at the max of what I'm hearing it, which is mild. I want it mild in the background to where it's more of something that you don't drastically hear. It's a soothing something in the background. It's not everyone's personal opinion. Some people have told us they don't like it. They wish it was just silent. However, I know when I watch videos, if it's just speaking and there's not a little noise in the background, just to kind of give a little beat, it does get me a little bit on the bored side, if that makes sense, especially if you just have some talking going on. So we try to put that in the bag just more for calming, peaceful music. Once the music's done, I hand the phone over to Jennifer and say, watch it, make sure our mouths match our words, because that's one of the things that you want to watch when you edit, especially on a phone. Sometimes if you slide your finger in the inappropriate spot, it's actually going to speed that video up, and the next thing you know, your mouth doesn't match the sound. So that's something that, Jen watches for, and so she watches it just to have a different pair of eyes, see what I just did. Once we do that, it's very simple to upload. You're going to save the video from Viva Video. It's going to export it back to your photo album. So you'll actually have it in your camera memory. And then from there, we actually go to YouTube itself and upload. And that's when we start doing all of our description, tags, template pictures, and all that good stuff.
Now,
There's a question out here. Can you upload GoPro videos to Viva?
Yes. So here's the thing. As long as you can get that video from whatever external source you're using to record to your phone, then yes. Wyatt has a GoPro. However, we haven't started playing with it enough to understand if we can. But if you have a memory card or something like that, as long as you can get it to your phone, you can use Viva Video.
Getting started on Homestead is asking you, do you keep your intro on your phone all the time?
Yes. So anything that we reuse, it stays on the phone always.
Makes sense.
with your editing program that you have on your phone that you utilize, can you?
Sorry, say that again.
Can you do color correction on your videos with the editing program you have on your phone?
No, so it is fairly basic. The most that we can do is adding a filter to our clips and such like that. So that's the best I can play with any kind of color.
Mimsy's Garden is asking you, Zach, what percentage do you set the music? I've been doing around 45 to 50%, but I'm unsure if it's annoying or what.
So if we're speaking, I do 7 or 8%, depending on the song. If we're not speaking, I do 35 to 40%.
Okay.
St. Bernard Acres said they've never had luck uploading to YouTube from your phone. I would also say it depends on how you're uploading. If you're trying to upload from an editing app itself, I would suggest don't do it that way, because we had so many fail trying to actually upload from Viva Video. And then we finally, actually it was me getting angry at Viva Video before we even found this out. They took away that option to upload directly to YouTube from their app. So it forced me to learn to save it to our photo album and then go to YouTube and upload. And we have had 0 failures since doing that. So try to start doing it actually on the YouTube app itself instead of the editing app.
Isn't your phone an iPhone 5?
No, I think mine's a 6.
Oh, 6, okay.
I think mine's a 6.
Okay.
But I see.
Scratch that, his is a 6.
I see that Big Dreams Homestead is saying they have an older iPhone 5, doesn't have any storage left on it. So if there's no storage left, it's really kind of a brick as far as editing goes, is it not?
It is. I mean, that is the battle of having storage, because if you can get any of that storage off, I would recommend getting an external hard drive or trying to, I don't know. If you have an old phone, it is kind of a battle, to be honest with you. There's not a whole lot you can do unless you clean up some space.
On the other side of that, an older iPhone or an older phone can be an excellent camera. And if you want to go through the hassle of working with such a tiny interface and perhaps an external drive, it probably would not be. It would be a way to get some quality stuff without having a whole lot of money invested.
Agreed. Because you're gonna have most everyone has a phone, right? So if you're eligible for an upgrade or whatever it is that these networks are doing now, it's cheaper to go upgrade your phone than go buy a PC that will be able to support this.
And that phone does not have to be a phone. You
Right.
don't have.
It doesn't.
You don't have to have an account with AT&T or Verizon.
Phone number.
Okay. Let me.
Zach, getting started on homesteading. Bub is asking, where do you get your music from?
So any of our background music that has no words, so any of our instrumental is strictly from Viva Video. So they have a whole album or a whole playlist full of copyright-free music that you can use there, and they give you the copyright release. And all they ask is that you put in their little one-line description saying music by, I think it's Audiotonics or whatever it may be. But none of that music's within the YouTube system, so when you upload it, they will not flag it. And yeah, I mean, I saw someone say they started their channel with their iPhone. That's what we started with as well. The same phones that we're using today as the ones that we started with.
Okay, question for you. Because I know you use your phones for virtually everything, including our call here this evening.
Yeah.
Do you prep your phone in some special way so that if somebody calls you right now, it doesn't blow you off the Skype connection?
Yes. So at least the iPhones, and I'm pretty sure every phone has it now, it has a do not disturb option. And so we just turn that on. It doesn't block you from doing anything. It just blocks from any incoming items. So I can still access the internet. We can still do these Skype calls. I could text out or call out in this mode, but nobody can call or text or interrupt us.
So in other words, if you got a text message in now, it wouldn't disrupt this, or you just probably wouldn't get it, or?
Actually, I do get it, as text especially, but it's mainly just blocking phone calls. Anything that would interrupt the internet,
okay,
that's what it blocks out. So the one thing, though, to remember is make sure you put your phone on silent or vibrate, so not everybody's hearing the ding, da-ding, or whatever it is you have. Jen's the worst at not turning that off. I think almost 90% of our videos, at some point, you hear her text message going off in it.
What's your opinion on Filmora 9 video editing software?
You must be directing that toward me.
Oh, it's just open question.
Just out there, open question. Filmora 9 editing software, since their latest update, has gotten much better. I liked Filmora 8 a lot, and then when they came out with 9, I thought, well, it's just an improvement. And because I had the lifetime purchase on it, I was all in. And until I started using it, and then I wasn't all in because I think they shot themselves in the foot. But they have since come back and made some other improvements, and it's now pretty decent again. It's very intuitive. It's very easy to use. It's you can do a lot with it. There's a lot of features that come with it, and if you buy the lifetime key, if you would, I think it's $60. One-time fee for $60. You will have that. You'll have it forever with all other upgrades that they make. So I think that's not a bad deal. And we do have a caller here, so let me get him in here. Hello, this is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hi, Daryl. This is Sunny Preps.
I'm sorry.
Sunny Preps.
Sunny Preps.
Sunny Preps, yeah.
Okay. And how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Well, we're doing good.
Doing good.
I don't know who's colder here. Zach sitting up on a mountain, or us up here further north than what he is.
Yeah. Well, you guys stay warm. It's not too bad in Pittsburgh right now.
Okay. Well, you're kind of just directly due east of us, then.
Oh, okay. Well, my question for Zach is, well, and maybe for you, Daryl, is I'm wanting to embed links to videos in my video. They're not associated with me personally, but they're giving information about a topic that I want to share information about. Is that doable? Now, I don't think either one of you are familiar with the video editor that I've been using. It's KineMaster on my Android. But from the research I've done, it looks like I have to upload the video and then put in the links. You know if that's true?
Yes, that would be true. What you're doing is you're adding what they would term like an informational card. This is the little piece where I'm sure you've seen people in the videos. You can just check it out right up here, and they're pointing up into the corner of the video. And that's
exactly
right. That's an informational card, because the video itself, you can't have a direct link in the video. Okay, that's an after piece that is done after the video is uploaded, and you can do that right directly through your YouTube studio.
Okay, so if I upload and I have it set to private so that nobody sees it before I put those things in there, then when I put it to public, do the announcements go out like normal, like so-and-so has uploaded a video?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, you can. What I typically do is I typically upload it unlisted, but you can do it private as well, private or unlisted. Either way.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to do is I want to show a little clip from another video in the middle of my video.
Okay.
Do you guys know how to do that?
You're going to have to do that with your editor. So if you're doing that on your phone, you're going to have that other video on your phone, and you're going to have to select what part of that video you're going to want to edit and place into it. And it can be done in different ways. It can be as a complete insert replacement, overwrite what your current video is, or you can do it as a picture-in-picture. Then, of course, the decision has to be made, well, how are you going to handle sound? So there's a few different things to look at there, but.
Well, this is a video. What I'm wanting to do is take a video off of the internet or off of YouTube on another one and just show a real short clip. And I know if it's short enough, you're allowed to use video clips from other people, but the Fair Use Act or something like that. Do you know anything about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Zach. You start.
All right. So first off, I saw Morgan in the chat. He is the all-star about putting little small clips into his video. From what I understand, stay away from the beginning and the end and keep it short, I think under, 15 seconds, so you don't get caught for a copyright. Because one thing that YouTube does is they check the titles, they check the template, they check the first few minutes, they check the last few minutes of your video. When they do that automatic checker, at least that's what I've been told. So if it's in the middle of your video and you keep it short enough, you should be okay. But don't be surprised if they are able to catch on and flag it. I did want to mention on the info cards, I never use info cards through our videos. And the biggest reason I don't do that is I don't want to distract from our video. And even if it pops out as a new tab and they can stay on ours, I don't want to distract my viewer at all. So what we do if we want to recommend another video, like something that we talked about, because we talk about Friends all the time in ours, you can actually use end cards. So once they get to the end of your video, and you know how it pops up like your logo and it pops up little videos that go on there. Most of the time everyone uses their own videos because they want the viewer to continue on. But you can actually pull from another YouTube, and in that little square box, you can put their video in there. That's my recommendation, at least. That way there's no distractions during your video because you want them to watch the whole thing. So you want them to get to the end. You can pull that video up there if you want. And then we also throw links in our description just to kind of get people to understand where they are. But I don't like info cards for that reason, to distract from our video.
I did think about that. I'll have to refilm because I'm pointing to it saying, click here if you want to watch that one.
Right.
And then I tell the people, but wait until I'm done and then come back and click it.
Yeah. So instead of even telling them to wait, make them wait, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and what you were talking about, you taking somebody else's video and taking a piece out of it and for fair use. This is what you're going to get if you Google fair use, and it has to do with U.S. copyright law. So under certain circumstances, you can use somebody else's content and not be hit with a copyright.
Okay.
It's one of these. Okay, you're walking on some thin ice. That's probably the best way I can say it. Yeah, you're walking on some thin ice. If it's you have to making comments about it. What are some examples of fair use? Includes commentary, criticism, parody, news reporting, research, scholarship. It provides for the legal, unlicensed citation or incorporation of copyright material in the author's work under a 4-factor test. And just because you may be 100% correct in doing it, if somebody comes back after you and says, "Hey, you're using my stuff," and this happened very recently with a big YouTuber and The Verge. The Verge is a massive website, big informational website, and I'll give you my 2 cents on the whole thing. They created a how-to video that was absolutely wrong. It was a how-to video on building a computer or something, and it was terrible advice, absolutely ludicrous. And a big YouTuber, I'm talking, 1 million subscribers, went in and said, and played that video and said how bad it was. So he was, in their mind, he was going 100% on the fair use thing, and The Verge went after him. And to the point where it was going to be a copyright strike. It was going to have his channel shut down. It was crazy. So.
Yeah, well, the clip I want to use is a very short clip of a politician giving a public speech, so it
should be fine.
Be okay. It's just I didn't film it.
I understand.
So.
But this talks a little bit about it, and I'm going to say as long as you're, and Morgan would probably be an excellent one to talk to because he gets into a little bit of that.
He just posted.
Yeah, he's the king at it.
Yeah, I live by fair use. I haven't had an issue yet. Is what Morgan just said. But yeah, he and he does it in a very interesting way. He's not going in my opinion, he's doing it from a humor standpoint. He's not doing it from a standpoint where he's being critical, I guess, would be the thing.
So when I'm watching a video on my phone, how do I download that into my phone's memory so I can put it into my editor?
I can't tell you how to do that on a phone. Zach, do you have any help on that?
Goldchar found he just said a politician giving a speech is not necessarily fair use.
Okay.
Just wanted to
it's under 5 seconds. It's very quick.
Yeah, well, and I mean, from my perspective, if you're using somebody else's material, it doesn't matter if it's 1 second or 30 seconds. It's not allowed. And I know I've heard a lot of this, if it's under 15 seconds and this and that.
Morgan uses the 5-second rule.
Morgan uses 5-second rule. Some people use 15-second rule. And I only believe in the 5-second rule for food dropping on the floor, on a clean floor.
I mean, technically, I'm not monetized or anywhere near it anyway, so.
Well, and I'm going to probably,
and
I'm probably going to say at that point, I mean, probably the worst thing that you face is a channel strike, is a removal of the video by YouTube. We had a video removed years ago. Is that not correct, Sherry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Sherry uploaded a video a long time ago that was taken in the car. Am I remembering right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think she took a video looking out the window of the car or
Weren't
something.
we going somewhere or coming up? Yeah, obviously, if we were in the car.
Yeah,
Jeez, that was
and there
stupid.
was something on the radio playing, and because
Yeah.
and because of that, YouTube just jerked it down. It was gone.
Yeah, and Sonny, you also gotta think when you do get monetized, you have the option to turn on monetization for all of your videos, even the ones before you were monetized.
Yeah.
So it might be a good video, and it might continue to get views, and then once you get monetized, if it gets copyrighted, you might miss out on some of that stuff too. But that don't let Daryl and I scare you away from it. It's just something I know we don't do, just of the fear that it'll get caught, and we don't want to fall into that realm of getting copyright claims going, because YouTube is smart and they do save information. So once there's kind of repeat abusers, especially if it doesn't get a strike, they still know everything that you're doing, and they know channels that are starting to get multiple copyright claims. And so I'm not saying that anything comes from that, but they do know that information. So we just play it better safe than sorry. But like I said, it sounds like Morgan hasn't had any issues. He plays by the 5-second rule. I would recommend to not do it at the beginning or end of your videos. Try to stick it in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Try to, that kind of helps hide it a little with their auto checkers. They're not checking your entire video in most cases. So I don't want to say that they don't. And then you're like, well, I'd put it in the middle and they caught me, because there's still that chance. But I know they do mainly stick with templates, titles, and the first couple minutes at the beginning and the first couple minutes at the end to check any for immediate flags.
Yeah, I'm assuming everybody in here is aware of Goldsaw Farms. If you haven't had a chance to look at his stuff here, please do so. He's got a very unique style in his video creations. It tells a story every time, and it's just a very unique format that he uses. Okay.
Oh, and Sonny, to save, I never even answered your question. To save from a phone, I've never done it, and I'm not exactly sure how you would do it, because you can't necessarily just save a file. But if you can get it to your photo album somehow, then it's all yours to do any kind of editing. The only other option I can think is screen recording, but then your quality is going to be kind of rough.
Okay. Yeah. I'll give it a shot.
Do you have
All right.
the ability? I'm trying to think here. I don't know. Does you can download music on your phone? Can you not, Zach?
Sorry, say that again. I was reading comments.
You can download. You can download music.
Yes, you can, but I've never figured out a way to be watching, say, a YouTube video and have any idea of how to save or download that.
I'm just wondering if there's a.
So they're asking, what if it's a clip of your property in someone else's video?
They still filmed it.
Yeah.
You gave that right over
Right.
to allow that person to film your land. So even though it's your property, you don't own that video.
Yeah. New Horizon says, I got 3 videos that have a copyright claim due to music that I used. That was the Power Director app, so I use music from the YouTube Music Library from now on.
I have had them from the.
Go ahead.
I have had claims against Power Director app that have gone both ways. I'll always rebut it on the first one, and then when it comes back and says, you better be real sure about this, then I sometimes back off a little bit. So I've had it go both ways on that, but I've also had claims against YouTube Music. So it's not just from there. I've had it from.
Just because it's YouTube doesn't mean it's always safe.
Yeah. But I have here on the screen, download videos to iPhone. It looks like there's some videos out here. It looks like there's some ways to do it. How to download YouTube videos on an iPhone or iPad. And
Okay, I'll search that out.
So I'm going to say, those famous words. Just Google it and go to school here, and
That's how I've learned to do everything so far is YouTube videos.
yeah, absolutely. YouTube University.
That's right. Including knowing the difference between a male and a female flower on my squash.
There you go.
Zach YouTube video or YouTube University to me that one.
Right.
Okay. Well, I think that's it. I'm going to give it a shot. And you'll see it soon if you tune in.
Okay.
Works for us.
You got this, Sonny.
Yeah, absolutely. Works for us.
All
yeah.
right.
Is that
Well, thanks for all your help, and I'll keep watching. Talk to you guys later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
They were talking about downloading from, some of them was talking about downloading the videos from their phone to their computer.
Okay, yeah.
And we have for an iPhone. I suppose they have them for Androids.
I'm pretty sure they do. And I'll hold this.
That's what. For some reason, I thought it was white.
I'll hold this up here to the screen. This is an iPhone to USB device that has a Lightning connector that plugs into an iPhone, and on the other end, it's a USB stick that plugs into your computer. So it makes for a very, very easy transfer of files from an iPhone to a computer or to a MacBook. So this is a device that is available. We got this at what, Micro Center?
Micro Center, yeah.
Yeah, we picked this up at Micro Center, and it's a pretty slick little unit, and it's just something we carry around because we do a lot of our videos on a phone, but then we get them to the computer, and that's where the magic happens at this house, is in the computer.
Yeah, I think that's when you were buying all your equipment last year, and I went over and
Okay, I see here, getting started homesteading. I've got a strike on one of my videos from the Shindig with Amber and her boys singing from Haskins Family Vlog. Yeah, that can happen. And we face a lot of those type of issues doing live streams from events like that, and that's one of the downsides. When we did the Shindig, the one fella that performed down there, where he the songs he was performing, I'm trying to remember the verbiage that he gave me, but he had the rights to re-record
Daniel?
those songs.
You talking about Daniel?
No, I'm talking about the other fellow that did parody music.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't remember his name either.
But he did parody music
At the Shindig?
at the Shindig, and it was popular songs where he had modified them, but he had the rights to do that, and we got pulled on it, and I wrote back and said, because the guy gave me his information, and I wrote back and complained about it, and they let it go because he had the legal rights to do parody parody music from those original songs, I guess was the whole thing. So it's a matter of getting your ducks in a row when you go and do something at an event like that.
Yeah, they were talking about Bub got zapped for having a song that the Haskins family does. Well, it was a gospel song, so I'm sure it was copyrighted somewhere. And that's the issue we have for every meetup that we go to that you do the live streams.
Mm-hmm.
If they're singing, they could get us.
Yeah. if I'm aware of what's going on, frequently I will turn down the volume during that time period that's up there, because I don't necessarily want to do a 6-hour live stream and for 30 seconds of quote unquote violation lose everything on it.
Yeah.
Right. Y'all are at a mercy because you have to do the live, so you have to do the turn down. But yeah, anytime we do events and stuff like that,
Yep.
most of our video is on mute, and you get to see the footage, and we add our own music over top.
Yeah. Or do voiceovers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. You got to watch the radio and singers.
Oh yeah, the first video I ever did, I don't remember where I was. It might have been the apple orchard, and I was coming back, and I stopped over here at Clear Fork. Was taking a picture for my sister and my nieces of the Clear Fork Reservoir, and the radio, I had it blaring, and you could, so you could hear the music.
Oh yeah, you
didn't
can hear.
even think that YouTube was gonna. They got me. That video didn't go anywhere.
I do that so much. Whenever I do projects and stuff, I love listening to music, and I usually just have my phone in my pocket. So there's several times I'll like turn it down, I'll think all the way, and I'll start doing a video with the camera. The next thing I know, I'll play it back, and I can hear a country song in the back. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
well, there goes that clip. Have to redo that one.
Yeah, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, Loving Ivy Farm says, but you
Okay,
could possibly
Carrie, thank you.
you could possibly edit that out with a good editor, right? Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but you can't do a live stream that way.
Right.
You know, if it's live, it's Memorex. I mean, it's just live. You can't go in after the fact.
You think you sound too much like Samuel L. Jackson? I think that would be a good thing, Sydney.
Right. I think that is a good voiceover.
Oh yeah. Get more people to tune in.
Okay, and I see here that Naked Garner says he needs to learn how to do a voiceover. Voiceovers, depending upon the software you're using, are very, very easy to do. The one that I have on the screen here right now, just for example, if I click this button, it comes up with a microphone, and you can see the sound jumping up and down here on it. And what it has an option here to mute all tracks when recording, so I can have my edited video sitting in here. I can mute all the tracks. I can press the record button, and I can just talk and watch the video play as it's doing this. And then when I save it, that's my voiceover. So it's very, very easy to do with some of these editing programs. Filmora does it very easily.
Megan's asking, what's that program on the screen?
The program on the screen is Power Director, and I mentioned earlier that's my go-to. That's the one I use the most often.
He uses Movie Maker.
That's a Mac. I'm sorry, I can't help. I'm sorry you have a Mac. I say that smiling.
Daryl's Hayden.
I say that smiling. I have an iPhone.
Yeah, he has an iPhone, but he won't use a Mac computer.
Traitor.
Well, he had no choice when he was working. That's what they made him get, was an iPhone.
Right.
So when my Android died, and we went to get a new one, it's like, why don't you just get an iPhone? I don't want an iPhone. Well, that's what I have. And now, all these years, 4 years later, I still don't know how to transfer the ringtones, the songs I had on my Android, to my iPhone. I can't find anybody that knows how to do it.
Okay, Windows Movie Maker is a depreciated program. It's no longer made. It's no longer supported. I don't believe it has any support at all anymore. And it was never very feature rich. It was a very, very basic editing tool where you could splice some clips together and so forth. So there's very little extra. There's a lot of freeware editing programs that have a lot more beef behind them where you can add transitions to where you're splicing your clips together and even do some color grading, and there's a lot more that can be done with than what you can do with Movie Maker. New Horizons, that has been an ongoing issue with some of the music that is available with Power Director. Now here's how I have one with some of their music. Number one, I know exactly what song it is, and I've gone in and I have disputed the copyright claim, and I've said, they asked for the reasoning. And I say, I have a purchased copy of Power Director, such and such, for whatever version I currently am using. And this is the music that came with the program. This is the website URL. This is the verbiage on the website that says that I can use this music. And this is the song name. And I have been able to have them say, okay, yeah, you're good. So you can do it. It's one of these pain in the ass things. Somebody's saying hi to Raylyn. They heard Raylyn in the background.
Yeah, she got Chatty Cathy on me there for a minute. They've been very calm tonight. I'm very surprised it's the first I've heard of them.
Yeah, it has been very quiet at your place. Are you sure you're at home?
Yeah, I don't know what's up.
I didn't know if you were doing a green screen and just had a picture of your room behind you there.
Right? Everybody's been calm, even Jen.
She's going to get you for that.
I know it. Yeah. You want to say hi real quick, Ray Ray? There she is. She heard me talking about her.
There she is. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Talking there.
Hi.
Hi, Raylyn. How are
Here,
you?
we'll put her up here a little bit bigger screen.
There you are. Like, big screen.
She's chomping on something.
Look,
What are you eating?
can you hear?
What are you eating?
An apple.
An apple.
Wow.
Is it a red apple or a green apple?
It's both.
It's both.
It's both. Okay, so it's a green apple that's blushing. Okay, I see. Is it good? Do you,
Yep.
Yeah.
do you like apple pie?
Yeah.
Do you like applesauce? So you're not
Yeah.
you're not an applesauce person, but you like apple pie.
Yes, sir.
What?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
That is a multicolored apple.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Uh-oh. Now we got trouble.
Are you eating apples too?
Here,
Wyatt,
hang on.
Wyatt, are you eating apples? Uh-oh.
We lost him.
Whoops.
All right,
There
he's
they
back.
are.
He's back.
I unplugged my headphones so they could hear you, and it ended the call, so that's fun.
Okay.
All right. There, now you can hear them.
Hi.
Hi, Wyatt. How are you?
Good.
So, are you eating apples too?
No.
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 What are you eating?
Nothing.
Nothing.
You just got a big crackers, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to have it.
Watching his tablet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing with blocks.
Do you like apples?
No.
You alive?
So do you like plums?
Listen to that giggle.
No.
He
I'll
likes
give you that.
he likes cereal.
You like
'Cause I
cereal?
watched him get into the cereal that night. Yep.
What's your favorite fruit, Wyatt?
He loves carrots. Yeah, carrots.
That's a vegetable.
That's a vegetable.
You like carrots? Wow. Very good.
Do you like?
So you said you don't like apples and you like carrots as your favorite. This is false info. You're being fake news right now. Your favorite vegetable by far is green bell peppers and cucumbers, and you love apples.
I just love it when kids that little aren't picky.
Yeah.
I mean, my
Absolutely.
3 were not picky. They would eat. They loved fruits and vegetables.
Do you like
Yeah.
peaches?
Where you going?
Do you like peaches? You don't like
No.
peaches? How about pears? Oh my goodness. How about grapes? Do you like grapes?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, they like grapes. They like grapes. All right.
Have you ever had frozen grapes? Next time your mom and dad get grapes, have them put some of them in the freezer. That my kids grew up. My mom always had frozen grapes in the freezer.
No.
We've
Yeah.
never tried that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Put 'em in there.
Take them off the stems and like put them on a cookie sheet or something so they freeze, and then put them in a baggie. The kids
Okay.
always went to the freezer and got a couple of these, and you can put them in water because they're like ice cubes.
Ah,
I bet that'd be good.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah, the kids loved them. My kids grew up on that.
When did she sneak in here?
when Wyatt came back.
You know, the funny thing is, though, he is picky, but not with vegetables. He loves all vegetables, but he's picky with, like, meat and, like, stuff that has texture.
He don't like meat.
He don't like
No.
meat.
He don't like eating. He don't like chickens, and I don't want to.
There it is.
Oh, okay.
Right. Tell them what we're gonna do with our meat chickens.
Eat them.
Good.
Eat 'em.
You don't
But
know.
what we gonna make out of them?
Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets. I love it.
Two different type of people in
You
this
got
world.
that
Her
right.
and him.
You got that right. He'll be the gardener and she'll be the hunter.
That's right.
Guess what? When we got the chickens in the car, we went and said we can get some ketchup.
But when I gave you that blanket, didn't you say you were gonna do the hunting
Yeah.
for that deer?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, he
remember
said,
you
I'll
saying
be
that.
there for you soon, buddy.
Yep, sure did.
He
Sure
likes
did.
to hunt. He doesn't like to raise and take them down.
I don't blame him there.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like that part either.
It's hot over here.
It is warm. It's toasty.
It's floating.
Oh.
So about editing videos, our bad.
Goodness.
That picture that I took that Saturday night of Kaylee sitting in the recliner and Ray sitting there next to her when she fell asleep on her. I had to print that out for Kaylee to take home.
Oh, that was such a good picture.
Oh yeah, then when she was watching your premiere, because they were here, and I yelled, "Kaylee, come here!" and she looked, and she was so tickled that was on there.
Good. She did good videoing too.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and she didn't want to do it.
I know. I could tell some
Uh-huh.
some reservation, but I had confidence
She
in her. I
did.
knew
Yeah,
she
she
could do
did
fine.
pretty good. Yep. Oh, they want to know what happened to Wyatt's tooth. Did the
yeah.
Did the tooth
It's
fairy
gone.
come?
I put a string out and ripped that thing out of there.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. That's his first one. It fell out. He lost it. Are you coming in?
I'm trying.
Oh, we got Jen joining us, y'all. There she is.
All right.
I was actually the one that pulled it out, not Zach. Wyatt wanted me to, so I got a little paper towel and just pulled it right out. It freaked me out more than it did him when I heard it pop.
I think Because your mom, it will.
Yeah. I was like, oh, wow, that really
Yeah.
came on out of there.
Mhm.
Then the blood started flowing, but he remained calm. I did not.
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
You teach him anything?
I think Daryl's about to teach him more.
Oh, good.
We're trying to.
Nice. I was not YouTube hair ready, apparently.
Well, I'm just curious. Anybody, it's kind of open forum here tonight, so I'm a little surprised only one person's called in. So the phone number is going across the top. It's your nickel.
Yeah, here's your chance to talk with Zach and Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
editor,
feel like it has to be open forum anytime that my family gets involved with anything, because you just never know which way it's going to go.
You just never know.
Is that Power Director that you have online?
Power Director is the editor that's on the screen right
The
now.
Flying Pig Ranch. Now there's a name for you. It's
Yeah.
Power Director.
Power Director. I think I'm in.
And this is what I did tonight for this stream was I created the thumbnail on this piece of software, and I've mentioned that in the past, where you can use your video editing tool to create your thumbnails. So for tonight's live stream, I went out to a free photo website, and I don't remember if it was Pixabay or Pexels or which one it was, but I typed in the search term. I just used the word magic. This picture came up that you see up here in the right hand corner, and I said, well, I can do something with that. So I took that picture and I started out with a black background. Let me just turn the picture off, and I'll turn the language off. So I started out with a black. In this particular editor, they call it a color board, and what you see up here, these are the color boards. You can, any color you want, or you can create your own. So I used a black background. I then took this picture and overlaid it on top of the background, and I moved it all the way to the left-hand side. And of course, being black, everything just lines up real nice. But now I need to put some sort of lettering on it, so I went into the titles. And I just grabbed the default, and it was this top one here. And I pulled it down underneath. And I went in to edit that. And to do that, I think the first thing I did was I said I wanted to pick out some sort of font that looked good. It could have been anything, because Power Director uses all the fonts you have installed on your PC, on your system. So some look better than others. Some are sideways. I have a fair number of fonts on here because I use this for some other things, some semi-script fonts. And you could use, Google has a lot of fonts you can download for free. So let's just say this one. And I just went in and typed in editing. But I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to not just be a solid color. So I said, well, let's just not fill it in. So just turn the opacity down. But you got to see it. So I said, we'll put an outline around it. And I happen to use a bright green is what I did. Now there's two ways I can resize this. I can either do it with dragging the bars, or I can do it with changing the font size. To me, the letters are too close together. So I need to spread them apart a little bit. We'll get it down into the size where it fits. And you can see how this can go on. Then I can add additional lines, which is pretty much exactly what I did. When I'm happy with it, I said okay. And I'm going to turn this one off. This is what I wound up with for the actual thumbnail. Just created a picture of it, resized it, uploaded it, and so in a matter of maybe 10 minutes, I had a thumbnail for tonight's show. So that's the kind of things you can do with an editor. You can do it very quickly. If you save things as projects, and I'm not going to save this because obviously it was just a thumbnail. It's no big deal. But last night we had Farmall Fanatic on. This was the where I put everything together. I thought. Well, this was one of the early drafts. Where I had added everything together. I know what it is. Let me grab a different one here. Okay, and I've got a couple people here, so let me okay, I've added two people into the room here. So if you're on the phone, you are now live, and please announce yourself and who you are.
This is Misty with Mama Z's Texas Kitchen.
Hey, Misty.
Hi, Misty.
Hey.
And then the other person here.
It's Allison from New York.
Allison from New York.
Hey, Allison.
Okay.
Or Allison from New York.
Okay, so we have Allison and Misty. So, I guess. Okay, go ahead. Whoever's talking right now.
So I was just going to say, thumbnails are the bane of my existence.
They don't have to be.
I will get what I think is a good-looking thumbnail and upload it to YouTube, and it will be in the YouTube. It'll look perfect. It uploads, and then it will either be way too big or way too small, and I can't figure out how to make it look right.
So, do you do it on computer or phone?
I do it on my computer, on my PC.
Okay.
So I'll let Daryl take that one because the phone's a lot different when it comes to uploading thumbnails.
Okay. The recommended size for a thumbnail is a 16 by 9 resolution, sized to 1280 by 720. That's your pixel sizes. So just for example, with what you see on the screen here right now, this program creates a snapshot that is too large to be a thumbnail. So what I do, and I have a snapshot here. Let me just get to a point. I'm going to go a little further here, And I'm just going to take a snapshot here of this particular picture to create, if you would, some sort of a thumbnail. So I'm taking this snapshot. It's snapshot number 123. I'll just click Save It. And then I will go into this and I will open this snapshot with paint.net, which is a free open source photo editing tool. You could use really any photo editing tool, but this one is free and it's just outstanding. I'm going to take it and I'm going to resize it. The dimensions are correct as far as the resolution being a 16 by 9, but it's too big. So I just need to resize it 1280 by 720, say OK, and then I need to save it. And because it's still open in the editing program, I have to save it as something else. So I'll just put a little A after it. Click Save. And now this is ready for me to upload as a thumbnail.
Okay.
Okay, now I can take this thumbnail and I can put text on it or something like that before I do it. But that's how I get it to be exactly the right size and what you would see. So if I go back into this, let me move off to the side here. I'm going to bring this thumbnail down so that I'm working with just this snapshot. Now this is still, it's too big, but I'm going to now go into and grab some sort of a text and overlay that. And we'll edit this into sample thumb. And let me do this. So I'm going to, there's some preset characters here. So we're going to grab one of those. Sample thumb, let's horizontal center, and it's easy enough to read. So this is how I would get text on it to fit whatever it is I wanted to do. And of course I can move that around, I can resize it, I can recolor it, I can add additional text. And I can resize that to various sizes, place it wherever I want on the thumbnail. And when I resize it in the paint.net, which is a photo editing tool, to get it down to the 1280 by 720, then it's perfect size to upload, and that's exactly what it's going to look like. So I don't know if that helps you or not. I'm hoping that it does, but that's the key. You want your thumbnail to be 1280 by 720 pixels, and just if it looks fine in an editor, that's just exactly how it's going to look on YouTube. The one thing
I think the problem is when I put those numbers in and it looks funny when I'm on the editing screen, and then so I go and I jack with it to make it look right before I hit publish, and then once I hit publish, then my thumbnail is all jacked up. And if I would just leave it alone, it would be okay.
Well, you can always change your thumbnail.
Right.
You can always go back in and upload a new thumbnail.
Which I've done multiple times just to try to make it look okay.
So that's easy to do. And
right.
If you have, if you'd like to spend some time offline, like at a later date or something, if you want, send me an email and I can try to work with you a little more directly and we'll get you set up on a good way to do that.
Okay, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Daryl. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome.
All right. Y'all have a good night. See you back in chat.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for calling.
All right.
Okay, I think.
I just have a quick question for you guys.
Okay, go ahead, Allison.
I was wondering, because obviously I'm having trouble doing videos with my phone. I emailed one to actually Sherry. I think it was pretty funny. But anyway, what in your suggestion, a suggestion of a camera that wouldn't break the bank and still would give a decent quality video?
Oh, define break the bank.
Right, that's the big question.
Like, can I get a decent camera for under $500?
I think you're right. I think you're in the right area. Give or take 100 here, 100 there. But you're definitely flirting in the right budget area. So our first one, and you can always look at older models too, right? So I know our first camera was the G7X Mark II. And now, because there's a new camera out, the Mark III, the prices have gone down on that one. So that camera is great. We love the Mark II. But anything that you're searching for, and our recommendation at least, for a camera is you got to have an external mic option. If you're doing gardening, homesteading stuff like most of the people in this chat are doing, you're going to be outside, excuse me, a lot of the time, and that means there's going to be a lot of wind. And so that was a lot of the issues that we came across with that Mark II, because it does not have an external mic option, and there's a lot of wind background noise in our videos. So just whenever you search the top vlogging cameras, there's all kinds of articles out there, and they have all the pricings on them. We love our Canon. Like I said, we have the G7X Mark II, and now we have the Mark III. We enjoy them both, but the Mark III has that external mic, so we love it too. And I think it's right around 700 for that one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go a step further. Another consideration is: do you want a camera or do you want a camcorder?
That's true.
And
I wouldn't know what benefits I would have, both ways.
Okay, and let's just
while he's searching that, also look at flip screens. So like our camera flips above and not to the side. And I know this sounds silly, but you can almost tell in someone's video if they have a camera that the flip screen, so where you can see what you're recording, flips to the side because their eyes go that way. Ours flips above, so you don't tell as much that we are looking at ourselves to make sure it's recording the right thing, because it's basically directly at the recording spot, the camera lens. So that's also
that's a good point.
Okay, this is the camera, what I have on the screen here. This is the camera that he was talking about. It was a G7X. The earlier versions were the Mark 1s and Mark 2s. Mark III is the one that has the ability to add an external mic. And I guess the other thing to keep in mind is a good mic is going to be $60 to $150.
Okay.
Okay, so that's over and above on top of that price.
Okay.
So
it's still right in there.
But the Mark III's is what's called a point and shoot camera. There he's got it up, and you can see how it's got a viewfinder in the back that flips straight up, and the dead cat microphone, shotgun type mic, is over on the side, mounted on the side, and all sits on top of a small tripod.
Like Vanna White, Daryl.
I know. Well, and we know we have a tripod issue at this house.
You mean lack of?
Lack of.
Now,
the kids are giving me one for Christmas. I sent them the same video.
They felt sorry for Mom.
Some other ones.
Oh, I like that. That's nice.
Some other Canon cameras you can get are the EOS T6i, T7i. Matter of fact, the T5 I would be another one. And the reason I'm saying I is because they have a wireless capability. But all of those also have, I'm pretty sure all of the I models have the ability for an external mic, but it's a single lens reflex, like an 80D or a 70D camera. A little more money for the 70D and 80Ds, but they're bigger cameras. This G7X is a pocket camera. That camera, take the mic off of it and stuff, you can slip in his pocket.
So it's the weight is easier?
Right.
How about the weight? The weight is comfortable?
Yes, it's a lighter camera. They are absolutely phenomenal cameras. And now that they've come up with this Mark III with the external mic, they're great. But the other camera, let's see, what is it? HR 800, I think is the cheapest one. Okay. Well, we'll just go to Canon's site. This is their camcorder. This has the ability for an external microphone. I want you to notice the price here. It's $220, and that's directly from Canon, so you can get them cheaper.
Oh, wow.
You can find these all the time for like $180. And it has a flip-out view screen. They're very lightweight, and I have the predecessor to this particular camera. They're available in either black or white. I have the predecessor to this camera. They do a fabulous job. The difference between a camcorder and a camera is the camcorder is designed for video recording for long lengths of time. This thing will go for over 2 hours nonstop. I don't know what, I know an 80D and a T6i, those pretty well shut off after 30 minutes. I don't know about the G7X.
Same.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas you can take this camcorder and you can run it for hours and you can actually plug it in. I have used this camcorder as a webcam on some of the live streams. When we were doing the shindig and stuff, I set it up as a webcam, and it was going for 6, 7, 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
So
that's awesome for the price. That's amazing.
Well, and some of the other things that this does that the camera doesn't, it's got the equivalent of a 57 times zoom. I mean, it's just incredible what it can do. It does have the image stabilization. It's a good camera, but it's not a camera. It's a camcorder.
I'm used to now taking all my photos on my phone, but I'm not able to video with it. It's just too difficult for me to figure out where to push what button and when, and it's too sensitive because then the timer goes off and then I'm hitting another button because I've got a black screen, and I don't know. And I've not been able to figure out how to upload my videos from the Android phone onto my Apple desktop. So.
Okay. Now this.
It could be a desktop issue. Maybe the desktop is too old, and it's not,
I'm not
doesn't
sure.
have the capability.
I'm not sure, but again, that's something we can take a lot more time.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm on the Canon website, I went ahead and looked into camcorders. The one I first showed you, that is their bottom of the line bucket model.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, you start getting into the really quality camcorders, you're up in $2,700 or more.
Right.
So, but it's just it's a different style. So just to be made aware of some of the different things that you can be looking for. Just make sure you can put an external mic on. That's the key. And
Okay.
and do not, if you go onto Amazon or something, you're gonna find camcorders that look like this, and they'll say, "Oh, it's an HD camcorder and it's big zoom and it comes with a microphone and all this other stuff, and it's all yours for $82.65 delivered." Do not buy those. Do not buy those.
Well, that's why I'm calling, because like I said, I started looking and there's just so much controversial information. Like when you read it, sometimes it looks like it's doing a lot for very little money, and then it looks like there's a lot of money, but maybe you're paying for, the name, or, I don't know enough about them if I'm going to make that big of an investment, I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing.
Okay. Just like this right here, you are not going to get a decent camera for $60. It's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
It's just not going to happen.
Well, I know I have to, that's why I said, like, if I can invest, like, $500 to $600, if, that will work. Like I said, I just don't want to, like, get something and invest that kind of money and not find out that, maybe it's too heavy, or maybe, it's too complicated for me. I need simple.
The GoPro would be another one to seriously look at, and you're looking at $400 on something like that.
Oh, we have a GoPro. I didn't think I could do that with the GoPro.
Yeah, GoPros are good. I actually have a question about GoPros. Does anybody have a fishbowl issue? I feel like anybody I see that does GoPro videos, it looks fishbowl-y. And by that, I mean kind of like that rounded curves.
Sure. But, there are editing programs that just eliminate that for you. If you're on a PC.
Get that dig in there, Daryl.
Hey, my templates are a lot easier than Daryl's too. I do it on a phone.
But yeah, there's a. I think that's recognized by a lot of outfits. Power Director, Filmora. I know all of those have settings in them for GoPro and other action cameras where they have that fishbowl appearance. Were they corrected after the fact?
Well, thanks so much for the information. I appreciate it.
Well, Allison, thank you for calling. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, and if I don't talk to all you guys, everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving, okay?
Thanks, you too.
Love you, honey.
All right. Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Good night now. Bye.
Oh, yeah, and Morgan just threw up here the Canon M50. That's a mirrorless camera, which is another lightweight camera. I think that's a little bit bigger size-wise than that G7. But that's another excellent camera, is that M50.
It was asked if you have a gimbal and what type.
I do have a gimbal for a phone. I have a gimbal. And it is right here. And this is a DJI gimbal that holds the phone in a nice horizontal position. And the DJI gimbals have come down in price a little bit, but they used to be around $200, $250, something like that, just for the gimbal.
New Horizons said that she has a big issue with wind filming in the Smokies, so good microphone and a wind muff for her Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus would be helpful.
Now this is another thing with, as far as I know, with any phone, whether it be an Android or an iPhone, there are adapters made where you can go with a good external microphone and a wind muff and a dead cat on the microphone. Okay, Morgan, you're talking M50 at the same price as the G7 X Mark III, or are you talking? I'm guessing you are, and there must be a reason for that.
So, Daryl, I only got about 10 more minutes before we got to get these kids into bed.
Yeah,
There was a couple things that I had some questions that pop up that I wanted to answer real quick.
Go ahead.
So our templates, I shared the link a while ago, but I use an app called QuickShot. It's a photo editing app. We've kind of, in a weird way, branded ourselves for vibrant, colorful templates. We like it. It gets more good reviews than it does bad reviews, so that's why we keep rolling with it. But it has a lot of options of editing. We choose to not go writing on our templates. We started that way, then we moved away from it, and that's something I suggest that every creator play with and see what works better for you. For our channel, it just works better to have more of the scenery, us, the kids in it, and that app is really good about having a lot of filters, a lot of editing apps, and a lot of different stuff that you can do to really make the picture however you want to. So that's the app that we use. We don't do screenshots from our video. We intentionally take a picture during the video. So if there's something that we kind of feel that would be what we want to either tease or kind of show that we're doing, we'll actually just take a picture on our phone. Make sure you do it in a landscape version. And when you're doing a template on the phone, when you do the landscape, as long as you hold it out a tad, it's basically the size of the template picture. There's a very little around the edge that it's going to cut off. So you're basically just taking the picture and it's set up in the right size, and then so you can go edit however you please. Our camera, a few other people asked. Morgan gave out a lot of good options as well. That M50 is a major one that a lot of vloggers use. This one, the reason that we decided to go this route, because it is kind of in the price range of one of the higher end cameras. This thing was basically made specifically of the voice of a vlogger. They listen and they heard. So it is very YouTube friendly. It has a lot of options that are directly to YouTube. If we wanted to, we could directly upload our videos from this camera to YouTube itself. We can go live directly from this camera if you have a strong enough internet service. So unfortunately, as country folk, we don't normally have that strong internet signal, but I'm still working on it. So that's kind of cool. You don't have to link it as a webcam. You can directly do it from this thing. And it's extremely lightweight. I love it. It's nice. But yes, check them out. See what your best options. Like I said, the reason we liked it especially is because the flip screen goes on the top and the mic goes on the side. The other versions you're going to see is the mic flipping over to the side and the mic on top. We use a Rode mic. I forget exactly which one's that's called because they have a few different ones, but I think it's called the Go. We have the wind barrier on it instead of the pretty Rode thing that you normally see. We always keep that on there. Just being on the hillside up here, it stays fairly windy, so that's why we usually keep it on there. Sorry, just had to grab a couple questions that I saw before I had to get out of here.
Oh, absolutely. So does anybody else have any questions? We've kind of, I hope we haven't extended our welcome here, but
oh, not at all.
All right, anybody else have any questions? We still got, 55 in the room here, so.
Nice. It's been a solid group all night. What do we got, 2 hours going on here? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and like Jen reminded me, that we always like to say that. We've got all this stuff. We've been doing it almost a year now. Someone did ask, when would you recommend start to purchasing things? Honestly, I would say when you get monetized, that's kind of when we did it, when we felt like, okay, we now are able to start making money. Like we've hit that verge to where we can actually start making money off YouTube, whether it's pennies, whether it's more. So at that point, we were ready to start investing a little more. But we did from 0 subscribers to, I think it took us about 2,000 subscribers to hit that 4,000 hour mark before we started to actually put any money into YouTube. So we did everything off our iPhone before then. and it's fine. It works fine.
Megan, by all means, keep at it. I'm not sure what your particular struggle is going through the editing there, but by all means, just keep plugging away at it, because everyone will get easier.
Absolutely. So many people ask us all the time what our recommendations are. It's keep trying different things until something sticks, right? I mean, even right now, there's people that strongly dislike things we do, and you're always going to have that. But you got to listen to the ones that are strongly agreeing with things that you're doing too. So just keep testing little things out, make small adjustments, see how the response is, and just you'll end up falling into what is yours. So many people say, how do we figure out our style? How do we figure this and that? We didn't figure nothing out. It just kind of fell into place until something stuck. So just keep trying, keep posting the videos. You're not going to ruin yourself by posting something that maybe isn't perfect. I don't want to recommend anybody going back to look at some of our extremely old videos, but we have some that I messed up so badly on the upload. It's a little bitty box. And, there's certain videos that the voice doesn't match the words or the music's too loud. And that's okay. It's a learning experience. You never fail. You're just growing. All you're doing is learning more. So just keep doing it. Keep pumping it out. It's frustrating maybe at the beginning, but now I can almost edit in my sleep. So you'll get there.
Mama Z's has asked, how long did it take you, Zach, to get there? And before he answers this, I want you to keep something in mind. Zach and Jen are a wonderful couple that produces outstanding video that has a lot of interest with their kids and everything. So they are not of your average Homestead family piece. I mean, they're popular. But go ahead. How long did it take for you to get there?
Yeah, so that's another loaded question, right? So it does. I mean, to be completely blunt about it, I can edit all I want, but having Jen and the kids and the stuff we have, it's fun, it's friendly, it's happy, and so the first and foremost is going to be your content. We can do everything we can to try to spice them up and make them better, and that does help. Don't get me wrong, but the content has to be there. You gotta, just keep practicing, get it uplifting, get it happy, get it joyful. So, you got to think about yourself, what would interest you to watch something. So that's first and foremost. After that, then it comes the editing, then it comes the background music and those different things. But we started in, I always say February, but it was January 24th. Jennifer always reminds me, January 24th of this year. So in February, well, no, it was a little bit, I think March. Roots and Refuge gave us a shout out. That kind of started us off and gave us a little kick bump. And I wanted to address shout outs since we're talking about it. Shout outs are great. They help. They're going to give you a high surge in subscribers to start. But it's all about the views, people. It's all about those views. And that's what boils me back to the content. So you can get a shout out, you can get a jump in subscribers, and your latest video is going to spike in views because that's the first thing that people are going to view. Anytime that we got a shout out from anyone or just a mention, it was our latest video, and then usually like our first video that we saw a spike in views. But if you don't have that content that's going to perk someone's interest, that next video, they're not going to stick around. So your subscribers are going to stay, but your views are going to disappear because you've got to draw that interest. So we're on, what is it, month 11? So 9 months, 10 months now of doing YouTube, and we just try to make sure that the content is right and it's something that we would want to watch if we were clicking it. So that's the biggest recommendation I can do. We can edit all we want and we can do all the things, but if it's not something that interests people, they're not going to stick around.
Yeah, so it goes back to content, and like I say, you got to have that interest. You got to have that interest, and that's what I was trying to convey. And he's done all this without an albino snake. I want you to pay attention to that. I'm not sure Zach followed me on that.
What did you say? Sorry.
I say you guys have done all this without the benefit of having an albino snake.
That's right. We had no albino snake, and I am not supermodel, fit, muscular. Jen's beautiful, so everybody loves her. But I'm just the one that over here rambles a bunch. So if it wasn't for her and the kids, I'd probably have 0 views going on. It's a full package, right? You got to have everybody to make it a success.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I think you have to be willing to help anybody that asks. And
yeah, exactly. It's the community. We join as many live streams and stay in this community as absolutely possible, and we always will. Everyone understands that obviously you can't catch them all because you got life, right? But the community is huge. It's great to get to know everyone and continue to support each other. But as you grow, the one thing that you're going to notice is you're going to start seeing non-creator names, and that's really when you're starting to feel like, okay, that content is there. You always got to stay strong with the core within the community of creators, but you've also got to make sure that you're appealing to non-creators. That's one of the biggest things that Jen and I have started to notice is we've got to make sure that we're grouping everyone as one within our video and not making sure that we're focusing one to the other. Because people notice. People notice if you start kind of singling out or making specific friends within that, and it draws less attention. I don't know if that fully makes sense, but you just got to make sure that you don't focus on just the creators, and you also think about just normal YouTube viewers.
And I saw there was a comment about the chicken jumping on Jen's shoulder.
Yeah, that was fun. That's one video that we will not ever make any money off of because we sent it into AFV, and that's something that you got to think about. If you get reached out and people want to use your video, you're signing over your rights to that, which we knew that going into, but we signed it over to America's Funniest Home Video. So, that's something that we'll never make money off of. But man, that was funny and awesome.
I didn't know you had done that. I guess I missed that.
Yeah. So they actually reached out to us. They caught the video on Twitter or something. Somehow we don't even have Twitter. And they said that they liked it and told us to upload it. So we did. And man, what a load of contracts that you're signing yourself away just to let them have a video to use. But you're signing over all your rights. And we had it marked as monetized. And about 2 days later, once we had uploaded to them, we got a copyright claim. And it was the owners of AFV kind of thing. So I was like, there that goes. It's fine. I'm so sorry I keep rambling, but it made me think of something else. Also, don't do all your videos hoping to just make money. You also need to make sure that you're doing it for appeal as well. So like the Get Up dance that a lot of you all know that I did, there's still ads that are running on it, and it's still in dispute because it was a challenge and it was one of the things that the artist asked to be done. It's still up in the air. We're in the right, even though we use his music, just with some of their rules and regulations, because you can use parody and this and that. But when I did the dance, I knew there was a 99.9% chance we would make zero money off of it. And if it did hit big, which it's, I think besides Jen's Zucchini Bread, it's our second biggest video we've ever done, there was a chance we wouldn't make any money off of it, which is fine because it got our name a little bit more out there. And that's something to always remember as well. It's not just about what's going to make me the most money, but what might get our channel name out there the most.
Okay. Well, anybody else got any questions for him? Anybody got any questions for me? For Sherry? Jen?
It's 10 o'clock. Kids have to go to bed.
Yep. Kids got to get to bed.
Nana has to get to bed.
Parents got to get to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, hey, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. It was a great evening. Zach, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for inviting me. I always have fun.
And Jen and the kids.
And Jen and the kids jumping in there.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Say it's bedtime for me.
I love you.
Oh,
we love you too. Do you sleep with your new blanket? Good.
They love those when you put you on your shirt now. Brand new shirt over here chewing a hole in it.
Yeah.
We had one of the grandgirls used to chew on their shirts. Was it Kaylee?
I think it was.
I think it was Kaylee used to
I think it was
do that.
Kaylee, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, everybody, thanks so much for being here, and we will see you Thursday. Good night.
All right.
Night, folks.
All right.